On today's episode, we go through our quarantine queue and hang out with some of our favorite actors and actresses. So, rattle your cage, make all the noise you want. It's okay, you're quarantined, and we're on the zoo. All right, guys, we are here on the zoo. It's the quarantine edition. I'm here with the Dungos, Andres Palencia, and we're keeping at least 6 feet apart, so everything's good. So one thing is going through the roof. I don't know if I should have bought stock in Netflix or, but everyone's binge watching, and they have, what I'm calling the quarantine queue. Have you caught up? I have nothing else to watch.
Man, I think I've watched everything. There's certain stuff I'm not gonna watch. People in Castles. I'm not gonna watch. I don't know.
What is this People in Castles? What show is that?
Well, there's witch shows. There's what is it? Game of Thrones. I'm not gonna start Game of Thrones.
I'm not gonna start Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Sorry to our audience, but
well,
I gave it 5 minutes one time, and I was like.
There was one where it's a king with what's his face in it. He plays a young king.
Oh, I think it's called Young King.
Yeah, I can't.
Or King.
I can't.
Oh, I'll tell you what I devoured, and so did everybody else.
I did too.
Is Tiger King.
Yeah.
Did you see Tiger King?
Yeah. Holy cow.
Wow.
But I mean,
he's just such an. I love the billboards are started getting my attention because he looks like, and the way they put him in the billboard, not the one where he's with the tigers, but the one where it's the outline of his face, he looks like a Satanist. He looks like the devil, Joe Exotic. But then you watch the documentary, he's actually kind of fun-loving, but evil as well.
Did you ever see Baskets?
Yeah.
He's the brother from Baskets.
Hilarious.
He's the exact human.
Dude, what do you think? Everybody is captivating on the show, right? And everyone's a crook, and everyone's killed somebody, and everyone has a hit on each other, and it just unravels into one mess after the other. The one amazing person on the show is the woman who had her arm bitten off and went back to work 5 days later.
Well, the two workers. The other guy too was like, just so long as the tigers are happy. I'm like, you unearth two people who are they're. That's that thing where people, when you find your passion, you just do it. Her arm got bitten off. It's the nature of the tiger to bite when you get your thing, and it.
Oh my God! No, but okay, so what? But what's amazing is how much footage they got. And a bunch burned down. So there was a lot that we can't even see.
And they found this moment of I think they peeked in at this at such a human thing, which is it goes beyond wealth and fame, because I would expect the Joe Exotic to dress and act like the Monopoly man. Because that's all of our vision of fame and fortune when you're little, and that's all you want. But I think they tapped into that thing of they're tapping into everybody wanting to do something that nobody gets to do, which is play with tigers.
Right.
People will pay any amount of money. I think to meet a tiger cub, you forget all the abuse or whatever behind the scenes when the opportunity presents itself, and then everything that comes with that. Yeah, and everything that comes with it's hard to judge, because you're I don't know, if someone had a tiger cub, the first question a lot of people would come to their mind wouldn't be what's the situation for them. You just want to pet it.
Well, do you remember the scene where the tiger starts sniffing his shoe and then starts biting him, and he had to let a gun shot off? Do you think that somebody, because apparently there's a part where Carol Baskin, who's accused of feeding her husband to the tigers, at this point everybody knows, so spoiler alert. But she said, all you have to do is put some sardine oil on somebody's shoe and the tiger will go after them. Do you think somebody was trying to set him up?
No, I don't. I don't know. A lot of people on that rubbed me the wrong way. She rubbed me the wrong way the most. And then what's his Mitch McConnell, her husband?
Oh my God!
Jeez Louise.
The guy he's like this.
Dude, the melty face guy who is just. He has that I'm just gonna make your life miserable, and he just picks a guy, and she has her convictions on she doesn't like him. She thinks there's a better way to do stuff.
Well, what's crazy about her is that she gets everybody to work for her for free, and the other people at least pay their workers $100 a week, or Walmart expired meat.
But what a bizarre world.
It's but so growing up in Florida, because Carol Baskin's place is in Tampa, this is definitely something that's mostly in the south. It's all over the place now. I think Bruno went to one like in Tijuana, like a exotic animal, sanctuaries or whatever. But growing up in Florida, they had a bunch of these, and there was one called Lion Country Safari. I don't think it's around anymore. I think they closed down and the cats went to Carroll. But you were able to drive through, stay in your car, and there were lions and tigers just walking around.
See, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But it's also like obviously today and transparently probably so dangerous and so like exploitative of animals.
Yeah, I mean, I just hate seeing them in small cages. I mean, maybe if you have like acres and acres of land and you can have them roam around. Okay, they covered this and that in that documentary. The guy he wasn't part of the show, but they referenced him. The guy in Ohio that let out all his animals like several years ago. That is hilarious. And he let them loose on the thing.
What was who was the hero? Did that show have any hero besides the person who lost their arm?
To me, that's the only hero. To me, the woman that lost her arm. The whole point of, a lot of times when I'm dealing with certain, like, I like stories where, okay, how they always say, oh, you got to relate to the character. I go, that works for some stories, but for other stories, I don't want to relate to the character. I want to have absolutely nothing to relate to.
I don't know that I didn't relate to everyone. I related to everyone. I sympathized so hard for the poor guy who saw the guy blow his brains out. And just the way that
the campaign guy.
The way, where he's like, that guy's living an honest life.
Right.
I'm looking at him and I'm saying, like, everybody else in the world tells a certain percentage of lies. This guy tells less than most people. Than most people. The husbands, the like straight guy husbands. How fascinating is that?
Yeah, I mean, they really like tigers, but that's it. It kind of is not surprising. I mean, I think somebody can like fall in love, be into drugs, and really be into tigers, and it just makes sense. What's funny was the wedding between all three of them at the same time, and Joe Exotic is just.
Here's the thing: if someone lovingly gives you everything you want, will that break a barrier? And you'll just, it could be whoever it is, if they genuinely actually deliver everything that you want.
I felt that the kisses between them were affectionate and genuine. What was awesome though too is the music videos that Joe Exotic would make. That was the best.
My one conspiracy about that is who is actually singing. That's my full blown, like, it hasn't even been addressed. Because that's a pretty good voice.
That's so funny. Okay, we only have we spent the whole thing on Tiger King. Yeah. We only have like 1 minute left. Anything else that you've binged on?
Well, obviously the Gentefied. Watched that a couple times. Ozark, the new season.
I gotta get into that.
Ozark is good, and I love Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah.
It's a work of art.
It is a work of art. All right, guys, stick with us because coming up on the rest of the show, we're going to hang out with some of our favorite actors and actresses from some of these shows like Gentefied that we like to binge watch. So stay tuned and keep it locked. You're on The Zoo. We are back on The Zoo, and we're talking about what we're binge watching in our quarantine queue. And Andres, coming up we have the junket that Maria did with the stars of Messiah, which I thought was a really cool show. Did you check that show out?
I watched the whole show and I don't know what to make of it.
I like like a lot of shows. It has me in the beginning and then I kind of waver off.
I love the mystery of it, but then I'm like, I really want to know, am I watching some Christian propaganda, which, having seen the whole season, I'd be totally down for it.
Right.
I've fallen for it because I do a lot of I was just checking my phone. I do a lot of playlists, like curated playlists. I'll trust Apple Music to pick up, like just their main one. I just want to hear what everybody likes every once in a while. And sometimes I'll be 2 minutes in, catching on to something, and then I'm like, because he has risen, and I'm like, oh no, I gotta add this catchy like folky Christian song to my thing.
Oh,
so,
that's hilarious.
If it is, but if Messiah is like, if there's superpowers or not, I'm like, you kind of did too much for there to now be superpowers.
But I'll tell you what, though. I think that they're latching on. I think the part of the Messiah that a lot of people gravitate towards is not necessarily like the the religious second coming or whatever you will of a Christ figure, and then kind of like they kind of twist it with like Islamic culture, and they kind of like phase it in. But it's more about like the apocalyptic signs of the apocalypse, because like, you know, the locusts and all the, what do you call it, like the 7 signs and stuff like that, the plagues or whatever stuff.
Well, you know, we're there.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's a locust plague like there's never been before.
It's happening in Africa
right now. Yeah. At the worst possible time.
What? Okay, but does it have anything to do with the fact that everyone's quarantining and then locusts are like, because you know that here in California, bears and mountain lions have been going into people's yards, because the reason which they're not seeing so many cars on the highway, so they're encroaching, and they're like, oh, I guess people are like gone.
It's that George Carlin thing. They think we think we're destroying the world. We think and then the planet Earth just shakes us off.
Well, Greta Thunberg is getting her wish. Have you seen how clear the LA skies have been? Anyway, that has nothing to do with Messiah, or maybe it does. I don't know. Check this out. It's Maria at the Junket with the stars of Netflix's Messiah.
The activist people are calling Al-Masih. Some people are calling him a prophet.
He saved my daughter's life.
Or maybe he's a terrorist.
This man is the poster boy for America's problems.
What a concept. The Messiah coming back, and it goes to a little town in Texas. Tell me a little bit about that storyline. You being a pastor and a father of Rebecca, so this rebel teenage that doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. Well, I play Pastor Felix Higuero, who leads a small congregation in a small church in a tiny little town in Texas, and is challenged by financial burdens of the community and the congregation. He's going through a rough patch in his life, and the appearance of Al-Masih in the town coincides with certain unexplainable occurrences that he can only come to the conclusion that it must be divine.
Eva is very after him, and her boss is like, why is she that obsessed with that specific case? What do you think?
I think that finding out the truth about him is a convenient distraction for her having to confront her own truth and having to face her own fears, and it allows her to keep moving in a direction in which is farther and farther from who she is. But I would say that I respect her commitment. I respect her dedication. She's incredibly uncompromising. I'd say I'm pretty uncompromising myself in a lot of ways. I can be. So I really appreciate that about her.
She goes through a lot.
She goes through a lot. She goes through a lot, as do all of the characters. And I find that that's what I not just loved about Eva, but I love about all the characters, is that we're all quietly kind of suffering or in search of something that's missing in our lives.
The show does a really good job on keeping you thinking he might be the Messiah, or he might be a scam. I don't know. I watched the entire season. It's like, but I want to believe he's the Messiah.
See, I love that you want to believe that. And, you know, I think that's a wonderful thing. I encourage people to watch it with other people, with friends and family or partners, because the takeaway is very different, I find. And that's what's so compelling about the show. I think it provokes that conversation. I think it's an important conversation to have.
If the Messiah had to come, what would you say are the characteristics? What would you think the Messiah embodies?
I don't know. It's a good question. It's a hard question, because I guess in the show, no one really knows how they're gonna react until, you know, he's put in front of their face, and people's belief systems sort of break down, or you're looking at yourself in a completely different way. I think you can come across people like that in life in general. I know that I've met a lot of people that allow me to see myself in a completely different way. So that is the question of the show too. How do you know? How do you not know if Messiah is not the Messiah? So that's the point, you know.
Is your world good? Is it evil? What you see will be your choosing.
Keep it locked, because after the break, we're hanging out with Alberto Zeni from Narcos, right here on The Zoo. All right, guys, we're back on the zoo, and we're going to toss it to an interview we did with one of the stars, one of the scene stealers of the new season of Narcos, Alberto Zeni, a friend of ours, a friend of Maria's. What a lovable guy. He's always messaging me, too, like on Instagram. Yeah, he keeps up with people. Have you seen the new season of Narcos?
Yeah, man. It's one of those things where it's like watching a car crash.
Yeah.
The danger of it is you see a lot of relatable stuff. You see a lot of people, and you get to see their humanity.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't think there's anything wrong with seeing the humanity of criminals. I'm okay with it when it's done the way that Narcos does it. Here's why. Number one, first of all, everyone is captivated by the criminal life. Yeah. It's compelling. You know, Italian Americans kind of came up in the game because mafia movies became such a thing. I do think that the characters in Narcos, including the criminals, including the evil characters, sure, there are negative stereotypes that are involved, but there's also some interesting things going on. They're portrayed as powerful, sophisticated, clever, and we also see Latinos on the other side of the game. They're, the DEA agents, and a lot of them are. That's where Alberto Zeni comes in. Alberto Zeni and a friend of ours, Jesse Garcia, who I had on Check It Out. It's cool to see them on that side of the game too, and they're not little characters. They're big characters.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big show.
It is a big show. And the other cool thing about it is white people who don't speak Spanish are watching it, they're reading the subtitles, and they're picking up some Spanish words. It's like, no, we're not going to be like a Roman time movie where we're going to all speak in English, but we're pretending to be, no, we're going to speak in Spanish. And then sometimes English. Kind of like, on LA TV sometimes. All right, so check it out. It's our friend Alberto Zeni from Narcos on the Zoo.
Thank you very much. This is my first show in the U.S.
Oh my goodness, are you serious? Yeah!
There's nobody better. I know. I can feel that already.
So you're playing a DEA agent?
I'm actually a Mexican agent, which functions as a liaison for the DEAs, but it's kind of the same idea. It's the same team.
Now, aren't you trying to save your brother or something? Like, aren't you undercover for this season?
Well, this is very funny because I said this is actually part of the background story that you're not going to see in the series.
Oh, okay.
Exclusive. This is exclusive. This is sorry. This is actually a background story that Walt Pressling, who's played by Scott McNairy, and my character, who's Samad Palacios, they have a deal in which my brother's in jail and he's going to get out of jail because I'm helping the team. Oh. So the whole idea is that I'm just going with the flow and I'm doing whatever I need to do in order to get my family together, and it's a lot of fun.
Do you look like the good guy, but you look like you could be like one of those bad guys that look like the good guy, but you're really the bad guy?
Change on a drop of a hat.
Well, that's exactly what it is. This season, all the good guys are not entirely good guys, and all the bad guys, obviously, are not entirely bad guys.
Now, is there pressure?
So it balances out. I think it's incredible. I mean, I think we are reaching a time when the population of the world is actually admitting the rest of the population of the world. Yeah. Like we open up to seeing content from, like English-speaking, see content from Spanish-speaking countries, or even like Korean. There's like Korean pop. I think we reached a point where the quality of the content from everywhere in the world is so high and so well made that it just doesn't matter that it's not my own language. I will see it anyway.
Right. Is it a bit of a relief for you to finally be on the show, though? Because you mentioned that you've auditioned for like 4 times?
7 times.
7 times?
I auditioned 7 times, yeah. I auditioned from the first season.
Which roles did you audition for? Do you still remember?
Well, it was 7 different roles.
Wow.
The one that plays Jose Maria Jaspic.
Okay.
The El Señor de los Cielos.
Yeah.
That was kind of the most iconic of all the auditions I did. But I auditioned 7 times for the same role.
Did you audition for the assistant to the Colombian president that was trying to take him out?
I did not, no.
Did you audition for the Colombian president that was trying to take him out?
No.
Normally
I audition for like narco people.
Wow. Look at you.
Yeah.
Where did you get your start? Tell us about.
I don't get it. This face?
It's angelic.
Well, you can play both though, to be honest with you. Like, you don't look ni muy bueno ni muy malo.
Exactly. Yeah. There's something, you're clean cut, but there's something about you that might be sinister. Now let's talk about some other things you do, because you're not just acting. You're also launching social media platforms.
Yeah.
Are you going to become like the Mexican Mark Zuckerberg? Is that what it is?
No, he's going to play Mark Zuckerberg in a movie in Mexico about Facebook.
The Mexican version of it. No, but more like Jeff Bezos, maybe.
Oh, okay, I'll take that. And I'll take 2, what is it, free 2-day delivery?
Don't cheat on your wife.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't have one right now, though. It's all right. Yeah, we're launching a social media platform for crowdfunding that is called Me There.
Okay.
Me There.
Me as in me there. I'm like I get inspired by you. I see
But you're
myself
spelling it
creating
M-E, not M-I.
No, M-E.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
English.
It's like the English.
And you're
English.
connecting brands with influencers?
No. What we're doing is we are developing the social media version of crowdfunding. Like if you ever crowdfunded anything, you know that the platforms are you expose your product or your project or whatever it is that you're going to do, and then you get a lot of people involved, and they give you a certain amount of money, which is a pledge, and then you give them something back at the end of the race.
Right.
So what we're doing right now, it's just take it to the next level, which is also creating the same opportunity for people that are creating content that is not necessarily a product, but it's also an idea, or at the same time opening the door so people can connect. Like if you have a certain kind of project or product, and then you have another piece, and maybe if you get together, this actually becomes something bigger, or you create a new industry, or you do whatever you want, right? So we're making it more accessible and easier and entertaining, so people actually get to accomplish their dreams. And they get no excuses, you know, because sometimes we have this idea is like, well, I don't know people with money, or I don't know if people are gonna like
money.
I'd like to know more.
Yeah, I'd like to know a couple more.
There you go. Or I don't know if people are gonna like it, or I don't know how to talk to people. So the whole purpose of this platform is that you start creating an opportunity for yourself, you start educating yourself, and you start testing early on before you spend 2-3 years developing something that people are not going to want.
Got it.
So you get the immediate reaction from the people who are following you that are also helping you fund the project, and then by the time you finish with the entire thing, you're going to be able to talk to people, you're going to develop your leadership skills, you're going to be able to create whatever product and project, and you're going to have a lot of people following you.
And you're going to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are back in the zoo, and coming up, we're gonna have the interview that we did with Elizabeth Grullon. She did a funny movie called Roadhead, and yes, the pun is intended. I'll leave it at that. It's a horror movie as well, so make that connection. But she was also one of the Sith, Tria Suduri, in Star Wars: The Fallen Order. She did like the motion cap for it, and I think she's gonna be playing it in the next movie.
I'm a Star Trek guy.
You're a Star Trek guy. Well,
I'm a Star Trek first. What is it? Second next generation. Next generation. Bald guy. Bald guy. Star Trek.
One of the things about Elizabeth Grullon, I'm sure she's not gonna mind me saying this, but she has the best complexion. Like she's one of those people, like, because I sit here and usually like before quarantine, there's a guest right there, so you really get a close up of their skin, flawless, like Neutrogena commercial flawless. And I know this segment is not sponsored by skincare products, but we're open, so go ahead and contact us if you're interested, people. So let's go ahead and toss to Elizabeth Grullon on the zoo.
So the movie's about a group of 3 people. I really can't even call them friends. It's my character and her best friend and his new boyfriend, who I hate. Ooh. So it's the 3. I'm kind of crashing their like couples retreat weekend, and we head out to a lake to hang out, boats, beautiful sunshine, water, all of that. And we arrive to find out the lake is actually completely dried up due to global warming.
So political, honey.
Yeah, we go there. Okay. Yeah, it's actually kind of amazing in that way. Like there's a lot of crossover, and it's a slasher comedy, so it's scary, but it's really funny and lighthearted. But we also layer in a lot of, it's pretty modern. Yeah, we definitely have a point of view.
Okay, we're gonna start guessing. Everyone take a turn guessing what cut off the heads, all right? And someone from the cartel.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Chainsaw. Local congressman.
Yeah, there we go.
The boyfriend you didn't like.
No.
Okay.
No. All
girl you
bad
rejected.
guesses. Terrible guesses.
No, my guess was good. It just wasn't right. Okay, it was a good guess.
Good point. No, there's a crazy man chasing us throughout the whole movie.
Oh.
So you're on Party of 5.
Yes, I am.
Tell us about it.
Yes, I play Teresa Sullivan. We call her Sully. So yeah, Sully, she's incredible. She's an activist for illegal immigrants, and just really speaking on behalf of those people. And the show does an incredible job of exploring in a very real way, what a lot of those folks are dealing with. So it's quite an honor to play a Dominican compassionate warrior. It's
Do you
pretty
relate
cool.
to Sully in terms of activism?
I don't take it as far as she does. She's incredible. She's somebody who her priorities are like, she's really in service to the people. And I aspire to be more that way. I definitely care about people, and I care about, the different struggles of the Latino community.
Sure.
And my whole thing is that whether or not somebody is here legally or illegally, they don't cease to be a human being.
So Party of Five is getting acclaim. It's been getting good reviews. And
Yes. I believe it has 95, 96%, something like that on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful show.
Can we talk about the Star Wars collection? Because you're in a Star Wars video game.
I am.
Okay, he knows more about Star Wars than me.
Yeah.
I was telling her, like, I watched the movies, but I check out halfway through it. I can't tell you who's named what,
Sure. Yeah. No, it's super exciting.
And I read that you have an action figure?
I do.
You have an action
Like
figure.
in sale in a store.
I should have brought it.
You should have.
Can I just say something? This is a good segue where I'm just not going to be out of place that I say this, because he's saying you have an action figure.
Okay.
You have a beautiful figure. Can I just say
Thank
that?
you.
Is that okay?
Thank you. Sure.
It's true.
Are you like a swimmer or
Is that
something?
still allowed?
Yeah. Are you like a swimmer or
Does
something?
he have your consent for that compliment?
Right? Exactly. I love to swim. I'm a Cancer. We were talking about our signs earlier. I'm a water sign, so I'm like a big
Wait,
fish.
oh, wait, you're a Cancer, sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you what sign you were.
Like if there is an ocean nearby, I'm gonna try to get in.
But I think it's the Caribbean in you, don't you think?
Totally.
Yeah, because I'm like, my family's from the coast too, from Colombia, and I love being around the ocean.
Really?
Yeah.
What's
I'm
your
drowning,
sign?
I'll call you both.
Aquarius. I'm an air sign though. You would think that it's water, but no, it's air. It's air.
For me, it's just like all signs point to the ocean. But yeah, I love to swim. I love to dance. I like to dance salsa, merengue, bachata, do a little yoga, like that kind of thing.
And you meditate a lot too.
Oh,
I do.
Wait. I want to get to the
We don't wanna
meditating.
get
We
off
gotta
the-
finish the
yeah.
action figure thing.
Yes.
Explain the action. So you said you're the Inquisitor.
So I'm
what does
the
that mean?
second sister.
Okay.
Of the Jedi?
Oh, it's so exciting that I can talk about this because I worked on the game for a year in total secrecy.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't talk about it with anybody.
Where did you guys do all of the motion capture and all that stuff? Here in LA?
Yeah, down in Culver City.
Oh, cool.
In this big, it's kind of like this room, but 5 times as big, and there's just cameras in every nook and cranny of the
5
room.
times as big. What? Yeah, I know. We're trying.
No,
That's like Star Wars money.
It's not
It is
that.
the Star Wars money.
That's
That
the
Disney
intergalactic
paycheck.
money.
Yeah.
Was that here in
We
LA
just
or in
need
San
more
Francisco?
space because there's a lot of us. It was here. It was here. We did go down to I went down to San Diego though to do the facial scan, which was like the
really?
first step. But yeah, I played the second sister, so an Inquisitor, a Jedi hunter. She used to be a Jedi Padawan, and then she turned to the dark side. So I have, a black helmet, a floor-length black robe, a double lightsaber, and my action figure has all those things. And
Just
yes,
wait,
it's in
people are gonna
stores.
dress up
can
at you
go buy it.
as you at Comic-Con.
They already are. It's pretty awesome.
Wait, but when you're on set or doing the motion capture, like, are you actually holding like a lightsaber, like a heavy thing, or is it all animated? Like,
So they actually we work with like foam.
okay,
So we can't really hurt each other.
gotcha.
There's also no such thing as a lightsaber in real life.
Don't break his heart,
Sorry,
please.
Sally.
Now let me ask: have people started dressing up as you at Comic-Con?
Yes. They're already cosplaying like crazy. I believe there were even folks dressing up as the character last Halloween, which was a month before the game was released.
Wow.
And they were
Hardcore.
people already knew.
Yeah. There was a lot of the character was only mentioned one time in a comic book, and so there was already like some speculation. Fans were really curious, who was behind the mask. People were talking about it on Reddit, and so that's why I haven't been able to talk about it. And even now, like when I was like, I'm the second sister, I was like,
Can
wait.
I say it? Did I break the NDA?
Yeah, exactly.
Coming up after the break, our homeboy JJ Soria, only on The Zoo. All right, we're back on The Zoo, and coming up is JJ Soria. But before we get into it, I want to talk about the show, him, who I've kind of become friends with. I've become friends with the guy. Gotten to know him a little bit. In the show, he's on Gentefied. It's like half the cast is our friends.
Yeah.
It was amazing. What do you think of the show?
Dude, I mean, first of all, it's one of the best LA shows in the way that like Curb Your Enthusiasm is a great Brentwood show.
Right.
It's like, it's like a neighborhood show, like or Dexter's like a Miami show.
Right.
I think it tells like this story of an LA where if you're from LA, you don't have to have lived that life or any other character, but you know it's there.
Yeah.
And you see like the story of like, oh, those guys. Yeah.
East LA and Boyle Heights, where it takes place and stuff like that, where a lot of our friends are from. Actually, Felipe Esparza is from that neighborhood, and he gets to play it. JJ Soria, I become friends with. He's a bro. You know, he's like, when he decided he wanted to act, and he'll tell you this because he wanted to be the guy that busts in as a cop or a robber. And he's like, don't. He's that guy, but he pulls it off well. On Gentefied, he plays like the straight character. I don't mean heterosexually. I mean he's not the comic relief, but he kind of is. Because he's that way in real life. You know, he's very focused and he's very, you know who David Goggins is?
Yeah.
You know, he's got to do it. It's like a challenge. And come on, we're going to make it happen.
I love when I could just picture the casting people being like, well, we got it. He's the guy.
Yeah. He said he's the guy.
Yeah.
You know, and then Gentefied is an awesome show. But here's I had him on Check It Out. And he gets here and we didn't have a parking space for him. So he calls me on the phone. He's outside and he's like, the level of disrespect. I don't even get a parking space. He was joking around a little bit, but you can imagine him being like, bro, no parking space? But check him out. He's on the Zoo, and he tells us a little bit about why he felt kind of overlooked on Tinder. Apparently, he didn't get a lot of love. He'll tell us why.
All right, now we want to get to some of the stuff we were talking about before, because when we were talking about online dating stuff, you were there listening to us, and you were chiming in from over there. I could hear you wanted to chime in. What's your opinion?
Because I back in the day, I tried Tinder like 4 different times. 4 times, and I got no love on that thing. I got none. I got no love, and I tried switching up my pictures. Like maybe I'm doing too much. It's too good. So let me.
He wasn't wearing a jean jacket. That's why.
See, that's what probably I did.
Were you wearing sunglasses on your pictures? Because that's a big no-no for me.
Did you do this? Was it one of these?
No,
or was
I did headshots. I did regular pictures. I did selfie picture. I think I did a selfie
So it didn't work for you?
None of it. I had no play.
No play. I never tried Tinder. The thing is that I was afraid I was going to run into people I know, so I did the lesser ones that I'm just I'm not going to run into anyone I know there. But Tinder is here's the thing about Tinder. I don't think that the girls actually go on dates for that. The girls are just looking to go like this because they're bored and they're waiting for their friend to get out of the bathroom or something. Really? They're not
That's
going
actually very true.
You know what I'm saying?
What's that one, Bumble? What's that one, Bumble?
Yeah, well, Bumble was the one before, but then, like I said, the newest one is called Hinge now.
Are you single right now?
So...
Yes, I'm very much.
Dude, but listen, man, here's the thing.
I don't think you need to go on
Forget about online dating. You're an actor. You're now starring in the next breakthrough, series. You don't need to, bro. Just go out the old-fashioned way. See who's single, ask around, friend of a friend, and then go up and ask her if you want to. Can I buy you a drink? You got it. You on one of these online things, people are gonna be like, oh look, that's the actor from the thing.
But they have an app for famous people, I believe. Or...
I've heard of that too.
Oh yeah, I heard of that app. What's the name of it?
I'm not shy. I have no problem talking to a girl at a club or
You're
a bar.
better in person, right, than the picture and a headshot and this, that, and the other.
That's the thing. I think it's very important that personality shines through. And I think it's at times hard with online dating apps to really let that shine out, because how
do you shine? How do you shine?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think girls have an easy time. Let's be honest. Guys are like
damn, she's so shining. She's shining.
All right, let's talk about your show, Gentefied.
Yes.
What is it all about? I mean, there's a lot of everyone is hyped about it. I have an uncle that works for Netflix, and he's been showing me things, and he's like, "You have to watch the show when it comes out." I'm like, "Of course, I'm gonna watch it."
I thought it was Gentefied, like gentrified.
You can say it either way.
Like that, but it's Gentefied.
I like Gentefied better.
Yeah, it's a nice play on words.
Okay,
like
cool.
Gentrification, Gentefied. Gentrified, Gentefied. The story's
cool.
about 3 cousins helping out their grandfather to keep his taco shop afloat that's being in danger of being gentrified in the community. So
and it's happening all over LA?
It's all over
LA,
but it's all over the country.
But it's happening in the neighborhood. You guys take place in Boyle Heights.
Yeah, Boyle Heights.
See, that's actually the epicenter right now for gentrification in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Actually, where I was born, too. I was born in Boyle Heights at White Memorial Hospital, and I lived in Northeast LA, and I'm from an area in Northeast LA called El Sereno.
What's the gentrification things that you guys have to battle on the show?
Oh, primarily dealing with saving the taco shop, which is, it deals with the culture and how people in our storyline, you have a character that is the owner of the property, who's also Hispanic, and it's also like pushing your own people out, but so for a better living for yourself, right? I mean, he's taking the owner of the property has an opportunity to make some more money because the price is going up on the land, and it's like, well, here's some hardworking Hispanics or Latinx people that have worked so hard to have this business for so long, and now just because things are changing, they're getting pushed out.
The showrunners, it's Marvin Lemus, and then who's the
Linda Chavez.
And Linda Chavez. What do they like to work with? Because they're also getting a lot of buzz around them.
They're great to work with. They allow us to play. They allow us to incorporate our own ideas, and it's about whatever's best for the show. So we're all working as a team to make it. There's no egos involved. Everyone, like I would say.
That's so important.
Yeah, if we're acting in a scene, I'd be like, yo, if you have a note for me, go ahead and toss it my way, and vice versa. So we're all about, we want each other to shine.
Cooperation instead of competition.
When the camera's on you, we want you to shine. Cameras on both of us, we're both gonna shine. So it's very much a family atmosphere from cast and crew alike. We communicate with our crew very well. We know each other's names, and just a very family.
How involved is America Ferrera? Because I know she's executive producer, right?
Well, she directed a couple episodes as well. She acted in it. She did a great job.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
My boy Francisco Ramos, who does he play?
He plays one of the chefs.
How is he on the show?
He's good.
How is he when the cameras aren't rolling? He's still on, right?
Is he still on?
Francisco
Ramos? He works more with Carlos, so I wouldn't know.
With Carlos, another friend of mine. Me and Carlos had the same birthday. So Carlos, so Carlos Santos is also on the show. Are you? How do you?
We're cousins on the show.
Okay, so it's you, Carlos, and who else?
And Carrie Martin.
And Carrie Martin. And Felipe Esparza plays what?
He plays a good buddy of mine.
Dude, this is a great cast. I mean, not just because those three guys are homies of mine, but it's so awesome. Like I want to see them really kind of like get a chance to get more exposure.
We got a lot of stars on the show, man. I mean, I could say that, it's myself excluded, I'd say we have a lot of stars on the show, and myself included. I'm not shy. I'm not shy. I'm not shy.
Because I'm sure usually you get cast as like,
yeah. This is a bit different for me, where I play someone like just a homeboy from around the way that is misunderstood and self-educated because he's dropped out of school. But he's dropped out of school for the sake of helping his family, helping his grandfather keep the business afloat. So, which is tied back to our culture as Latinx people. We're very much about familia, and I give up on any ideas of having my own dreams to take care of my family.
All right, guys, we are back on the zoo, and coming up is an awesome guest. We've had him on a couple of times in the zoo, Adam Faison. And he's awesome because the first time he came, he was like kind of shy. And the second time he was like, man, he was running down his wardrobe. He was just, he's one of those guests where like, we didn't have to ask him too many questions,
Well, like, he actually came, we're friends. Like, we were friends, and it's one of the most fascinating, like, to actually watching someone get, like, get famous at every step. But he's like the audition guy.
Right. Yeah.
He's like he worked for it. He prepared. He got the one role. What was the show?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
He was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he was on another
Into the Dark.
Another Freeform.
He's been on a couple of them.
There was another show that he got that was
Everything's
good.
Gonna Be Okay.
And then now he's on Everything's Gonna Be Okay, which is posters all over town.
Right.
And
Here now.
Couldn't have happened to a more deserving guy.
NCIS. He definitely has your vibe, although I think he's becoming more extroverted than you the more successful he gets. Is that happening?
I can't focus in on people in the way that actors can. The way he's like a Will Smith, like he gives you 110. Yeah. Every interaction he has.
He's one of our favorites. He's definitely one of our friends. Andres' friend and now a friend of the zoo's. Check this out, Adam Faison from Everything's Gonna Be Okay.
You have the more nerdy look. Now you look like you're a pop singer.
Oh, thank you. I'll take it.
So rebellious now.
I've been doing a lot more music writing too,
Oh, wow.
and I write some poetry.
Really?
I'm a sad
Wait,
boy.
are you
I'm a
really
secret
doing
sad boy. So yeah,
So wait, are you singing and playing? Do you play an instrument?
Yeah. So I play guitar and piano. That's been the past couple years. Have been my New Year's resolution. That and sign language. So those have been my like.
Wait a minute. Let's go ahead and sign language clap to that.
I took it for a
My
semester.
There we go. Clapping.
Yes.
This is clapping in sign language.
Yes, sign language.
Oh, yes, slow.
I just remember, what is it? Beautiful?
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes, beautiful. Yeah.
Oh.
Bad. Good. This is good.
What's good?
This is good.
This is good. This is good.
Thank you.
And this is thank you. But this is bad.
This is bad.
Thank you and bad are two, but this is too
similar. But think of it like you're turning it down. It's bad.
Okay, this is good and this is bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This
is bad.
You guys are good. You guys over there are bad. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yes, yeah,
So what?
yeah.
This is a scripted series on
Yes,
Hulu?
yeah. So it's on Hulu. The first 3 episodes are on there, and
But it airs on Freeform.
It airs on Freeform,
Yeah,
exactly.
let's not get
Thank
them
you.
confused, you know.
Yes, yeah.
First on Freeform, then on Hulu.
and then on Hulu the next day.
Yeah.
So it's every Thursday
And
at
on
8:30.
FX soon as well. Like
And
a
I'm
little
yes,
guest,
there we
you
go.
know, a little guest screening.
It's so good, yeah. So it'll be on there because like Dana Walden, who's the head of Disney Television, she saw it, and now that they've merged, she was like, this kind of has a vibe of FX, so she's gonna put it on there next week on January 22nd.
Wow.
So it's really exciting.
Tell us about the show.
Yeah, so it's about a family and the parents pass away, and basically the oldest of kin, Nicholas, has to assume guardianship of his 2 sisters, one of whom has autism, and in real life she has autism as well, so it's very groundbreaking for television because she's the first authentically cast person in television history as a person with autism.
Wow.
Which is really big, so she's been really great about talking about that, and the outpour of responses have just been like amazing from parents and family members and just kids who have been like amazed to see her reflected on screen, themselves reflected on screen through her. And then my character's Alex, so I'm dating Nicholas at the time. And then it's kind of this will they or won't they, because it's a lot of baggage, you know, with everything coming on and him gaining guardianship over them. And sort of this idea of like, you know, we're also this like young queer couple, and I think...
You're dating a daddy, but like literally a daddy.
It'll be, I know, literally a daddy, yeah.
What's it like dating your boss? Well, your boss
Oh
on,
my
on
God,
the screen,
great
on
question.
the big screen, you
It's
know, on the
super
small
funny.
screen.
It's weird sometimes because, you know, like, so, you know, we'll be like in a scene or something, usually like with just another actor, but and usually they'll be right there with you, but I can always tell when Josh like has a thought or a note he wants to give me, because you can see him disconnect, and then he'll start kind of phasing out and he'll think about something, and I always know when he's gonna have a note, and it's difficult. So it's a fun challenge because his mind is thinking a mile a minute about
because he's
so
the
many different
showrunner of the show
things.
as well.
Yeah, and writes pretty much every episode. He has a team of writers, but pretty much all of our scenes he wrote. So it was like sometimes it'd be a rewrite, and he'd be like, I don't like that line. He has like a very weird accent.
Yes,
he like,
I've
talks
noticed.
like this.
I was
It's very
like,
weird.
your accent just
It's
changed. I was
funny.
like,
So he's a bit of a control freak. He likes to be in the lead of the show.
He's a
and
boss.
he likes, you know, being behind the scenes of the boss as well.
He does, yeah.
I don't know. I think to myself,
Sexy the hot and
sticky scenes?
Yes. I'm like, you know, I think I will get a little bit excited doing those types of scenes, but I don't know, how does Adam handle the hot and spicy scenes?
Okay, so it was very professional.
I believe.
But
That's
they do
what they
put you
all
in
say.
this little thing that
What do you
keeps
mean?
your junk held down just in case anything happens.
Really?
It's like a banana thing.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's really interesting because they put you in this little skimpy ass underwear
That matches with
and,
your skin tone or something? So you
Yeah,
look naked?
yeah. So you could get a little naked, but you know, but then they were really good about it. And Silas, our director, he's queer too, so he was very, very welcoming and just kind of got right into it, and it was not awkward or weird.
Okay.
And especially Josh, he's so funny. He was always checking in because, you know, we're in like
Oh, he was checking the junk in your trunk?
Checking the junk, yeah, well, and he was checking in with us, making sure that everything was in the scene. But he's super professional, and he's really cool. And
So is it like a closed set with fewer people?
It is, but I mean, you think
or does like everyone come in the room during the hot scene and say, all right, what?
They're doing
like
tours
craft
around
services is here, like everybody, like, get out of here.
Yeah, it pretty much is that. Like they're watching from Video Village, but when they come in, they're still like, Adam, can you make sure you move your like leg up like this, because this is better for the scene. And so they're just like telling you like technically, it's like super like this is, so it's not really sexy, but when we're in it, once we kind of let all that go and we just sort of are with each other, we can sort of live truthfully under those imaginations.
But you know what I've heard? I've heard that that's how Josh actually has sex. He starts directing and saying, no, you know what? If you put your leg over there, it'll be much better for the
secret plan. Yeah. Oh my God.
So when you do like a hot like sex scene and you're walking off the set, are there like people walking by you going,
oh, come on.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I guess we'll have to see. People have been sending some interesting DMs, I have to say. Somebody goes, you're so delicious. And I was like, I don't know, God, it's so weird. I've never been. I mean, God, you know, like a couple of years ago I was here and I was literally like a nerd and like playing a nerd. And so it's cool to be able to like be sexy for the first time.
But you were a sexy nerd.
Was I sexy?
And now you're a sexy pop star.
Thank you. I'll take it. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
It's been weird. Like somebody in a Q&A was like, what do you wish that you could like take from each of your characters? And mine was like, his like sexy confidence. He's got such an ease and like, it's just been weird because I feel like an awkward, like goofy dude, but then like people think that's hot, so I'm still like kind of like getting used to that, you know?
People like sometimes people like that little geeky, quirky type of guy.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a new type of sexy or something.
Well, this look is sexy.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Yeah,
God, I'm gonna go on here every time. You guys are super awesome. Thank you.
All right, guys, that was it for our Quarantine Q edition of The Zoo. Check out some of the actors and actresses we had on today's episode. Watch the shows they're on. Support them. We got to support our people. Thanks a lot. Keep it locked here. We're still going to be on. Same good time, same good channel on LA TV. You've been on The Zoo. Peace.